Jason.
I'm Stefan.
This is Tennessee Mountain Homestead, and today we're back out in the garage with a quick update video. I guess you could call it part 3.5 of Stefan's 1983 John Deere 212. In the last video, we completed this engine swap to what we thought was good, and we retained the stock muffler, which is still fine. Only last night, we drove this thing around a whole bunch and noticed that there is quite a bit of heat soak from the muffler. Now, with the hood and the side cowls on, the hood's very warm to the touch after you've been driving it around for a while. And also, the headlight enclosure underneath the hood gets pretty hot too. So I think we've come up with a solution for that. Let's get into it. My first thought to fix this was to build a custom header that would exit where the factory exhaust did. Well, we want to keep this thing stock, and we don't have the flange and all that. It's just going to cost more money. So my second thought was to use things I already have here, like a piece of sheet metal. Now, I already started hammering on this thing and bending it. I don't have a sheet metal brake. I put it in the vise and I bent this. So my plan is to screw a piece of sheet metal right to this hood support. It's gonna bend again, obviously, somewhere here and come out and come over the top of the exhaust muffler. So it'll be over it like this. Then I've also got some leftover exhaust wrap from my project, my 214 build, and we'll wrap the sheet metal with exhaust wrap. And that'll prevent heat from being able to go directly up, heating up the hood and the headlights. Like I was just saying, I got this piece of sheet metal I started to work on, but it's a little bit too thick. It's got this flange bent in it. I don't feel like cutting it off. And it's also got enamel on it. So I went out in our stock and I found this piece of sheet metal. It's unfinished, and I think it'll work a little bit better. Actually come pretty close to the front of the muffler housing. So before we drill any holes, we want to test to make sure it's going to fit. I'm going to hold it with a magnet right here, and Stefan's going to set the hood on. With some more ideas to help this thing vent the heat out anywhere but the top. So if you look here, I had to cut this relief in the front of it because that piece of sheet metal needs to go back as far as possible so that the headlights don't actually hit when the hood's closed. Other than that, if you notice, this side is solid because they don't want any heat transferring to the air box. The back is solid because the gas tank used to be there. The only open is the top and this side and the front. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna cut a couple big holes right here in the back so that more heat can go out the back of this thing and exit the engine compartment. With a combination of that being more open and the heat shield on top with the exhaust wrap, I think all the heat is going to want to come out the back and the side and exit where it's supposed to. Just like that, we've got our openings. So let's get this thing fit back on there and see what happens. Something else I'm gonna do with this piece of sheet metal that's gonna be over top of the muffler, right where it's thicker and it gets thinner again, right here, I'm gonna bend this straight down 90 degrees, and that'll also help channel that heat out the side, I think. I've got my piece of metal all fabricated. I've got the holes drilled and tapped in the hood support. It's gonna fit just like this. We test fit it, we put the hood back on and closed it and made sure that the back of the headlight assembly wasn't gonna touch here, and it doesn't. We've got about a 1/4 inch, I'd say, of clearance. And that's just the very tip of the end of the headlight assembly. The bulb goes in and turns into the actual headlight enclosure. So it's nothing. Anyways, what I'm gonna do next is wrap this thing in some heat wrap or some header wrap, bolt it up, and then we're gonna take this thing out and run it around outside. It's currently about 85 degrees, at least it is in here. The camera keeps overheating and the sun's out. So we'll take this thing out and drive it around for quite a while and see what happens. Shield all fabricated out. Come on in and check this out. We're drilled and tapped into the hood support. It is resting on the muffler. It's sitting on the muffler, but this heat shield, this exhaust wrap, is in between it. So the side is closed off from factory. No heat is gonna really transfer that way. We cut those 2 holes in the back so that heat could escape back here rather than try to come up. So hopefully, between the back and the sides, the majority of this heat exits through the louvers on the side cowling and possibly through the front where it's supposed to. Let's get this thing put back together, take it outside and try it out. So we've been driving this thing around for quite some time, and as you just saw, we popped the hood. I can put my bare hand right on top of that muffler shield we just made. I'm still doing it right now. So another thing to notice is that my theory worked in that cutting those holes in the back of the muffler shroud, the stock one, this fender or this cowling is where the stock exhaust muffler used to be. And that's where all the heat was pushed to, and that's where all the heat went out the front, all the exhaust. Well, this cowling is now pretty hot. Like, I can put my hand on it, it's not uncomfortable, but it's definitely warm. Definitely more than warm. So I think that's gonna be good. I think that's a win. I wanted to address that because we did this whole project and showcased it over the course of 3 videos, and I just wanted to be honest and transparent about what we're doing with this stuff. So if you put one of these engines just like we did in here, you're probably gonna have to do some kind of a heat shield, because I think it was just too much. Like yesterday, this part of the hood right above the muffler was extremely warm, but now it's good. Anyways, that's gonna do it for today's update video. Like I said, I wanted to showcase this because it's another step in the project that we did here, and I think now it's 100%. If you're new to the channel, please don't hesitate to like, comment, subscribe. And also, if you're just coming in on this video, please check out the first 3 videos of where we actually swapped the motor and all that. A lot of good stuff in there. And once again, I'm Jason.
I'm Stefan.
This is Tennessee Mountain Homestead, and we'll see you on the next one.